Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about the Final Four, and this Final Four is probably the craziest Final Four matchup ever. So we're going to predict that, and I'm also going to talk about how each team got here, so stay tuned. Now, San Diego State, led by the duo of Matt Bradley and Darion Trammell. I think overall this San Diego State team is a great team, and I should have known earlier because in my old March Madness prediction video from a couple weeks back, I had Charleston beating them in the first round, which is wild in retrospect. They barely got past Charleston in the first round. Then in the round of 32, they obliterated Furman, which I kind of expected. But then in the Sweet 16, they beat my championship pick, Alabama, which I definitely did not expect. Alabama, they looked unstoppable throughout the year, and for San Diego State to come in and get a 7-point win off of them was pretty shocking, but it showed that San Diego State can really play with anybody. And then in the Elite Eight, they played Creighton, and that was a very tight ending, very controversial with the Ryan Nembhard foul, but San Diego State prevailed, which I think that was a game they really shouldn't have won with the turnover, the inbound turnover. But other than that, San Diego State, they've proven they can play with anybody. Now to their opponent, Florida Atlantic. Now, who would have thought they would be in the Final Four? I mean, I think you could say that with pretty much every team in this Final Four, but talk about an underdog story for them. And in the first round, they got a huge win against Memphis, very tight game. Then in the second round, they beat Farley Dickinson, who obviously pulled off one of the greatest upsets of all time against Purdue in the round of 64. Then in the Sweet 16, they actually looked really good against Tennessee, and they had a really good offensive performance against a pretty good defensive team in Tennessee. And then in the Elite Eight, they got a huge win against Kansas State, which I did not expect. I thought Marquise Noel, Keontae Johnson, that duo was going to be unstoppable and they were going to steamroll to a championship. But Florida Atlantic, they pulled off an upset there. Janelle Davis, talk about an absolute stud. He has been incredible throughout the tournament. And overall, this team, offensively, they are very good. But at the same time, I'm not too certain about them defensively. Now to Miami. I'm very impressed with Miami, especially on the offensive side of the ball. They beat Drake in the first round. Then in the second round, they beat IU. Then in the third round, they upset Houston, which was very shocking to me because I thought Houston, with Marcus Sasser back, they were going to make a run, but they didn't. And then in the Elite Eight, they were down by a lot at one point in the game, but they made a huge comeback against Texas, led by Jordan Miller's perfect shooting night, and now Miami is in the Final Four. And overall, this team is a top 3 offensive team in the country when they are hot. I mean, Jordan Miller, he's a great shooter. Down low, you have Norchad Omier. I mean, talk about so many options on this Miami team. I could go on and on. They are a great team offensively when they are hot. And honestly, they could definitely win the championship. Now to UConn. I'm very impressed with the way they played throughout the tournament, this entire tournament. I mean, in the first round, they completely dominated Iona, which is no surprise. Then in the second round, they dominated St. Mary's. Then in the Sweet 16, they dominated Arkansas. And then in the Elite Eight, they completely killed Gonzaga, which really shocked me. I mean, Jordan Hawkins, he's been great in the past couple of games for UConn. And Adama Sanogo has been incredible on the boards and down low. He is a force to be reckoned with, and this UConn team, offensively and defensively, they're the best team left. Now to my Final Four actual predictions. Florida Atlantic taking on San Diego State. I mean, this Florida Atlantic team, they're great offensively, but at the same time, this San Diego State team, they've looked great in the past couple of games defensively, especially in the Creighton game, and overall, they're a better team. I'm taking San Diego State here to go to the national championship. Now, Miami taking on UConn. Talk about a great game. I mean, a great big man matchup between Norchad Omier and Adama Sanogo. And I'm taking UConn here because I feel like their offense, despite both offenses being more fluid, I'm taking UConn. And defensively, UConn is the better team, so I'm taking UConn here. And in my national championship game, UConn taking on San Diego State. I don't think San Diego State has anybody to guard Adama Sanogo, so I'm taking UConn here. I think overall, UConn, they are the best team left in the Final Four, and they are going to win the championship. This is going to be yet another weird year where UConn wins the championship. I mean, if you remember in 2011, Kemba Walker, that team, they were not even supposed to be in the championship or even be in the tournament. So that was a very shocking year for them. And then in 2014, when they were a 7 seed and won the whole thing, led by Shabazz Napier. So I think this is going to be yet another weird year where UConn wins the championship. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.